Week 14 in the NFL, we had some surprises, and of course, we had some upsets. And here to break it down is New York Post NFL reporter Ryan Dunleavy, because we want to hear all about his NFL power rankings. All right, Ryan, you got the Eagles, Bills, and the freaking Cowboys as your top three. Explain why, please.
Imagine that. The Giants are finally competitive again, Brandon, and two of the three best teams are in the NFC East, right? Figures. Really, it's a top five, Brandon. I mean, you could slice the top five. You mentioned the Eagles, Bills, and Cowboys, but the Bengals and Chiefs, too. Those are, to me, the five best teams. You could really, it's razor thin between 3 and 4, or 4 and 5, or even really 3 and 5. But Eagles, I think, are clearly number one the way they've rolled through the league. They've beaten a lot of teams in the top 10. The Bills, they beat the Chiefs head to head, and they bounced back from that heartbreaking loss to the Vikings pretty well. And then the Cowboys, I mean, they've shown the last couple of weeks they have 40-plus point potential. Not a lot of teams in the NFL in a year where scoring is down are explosive as the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will agree when we say we're headed to a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. But, I mean, we're only going into Week 15, still a lot of football to be played. All right, who were the biggest jumpers and who were the biggest droppers?
Yeah, I'm going to leave out 19 to 32, Brandon, because, to me, teams 19 to 32, that's a jumbled mess of 5 and 4 win teams. I know who the bottom three are: the Bears, the Broncos, and the Texans. 19 to 29. I mean, I think I had the Panthers jump 8 spots from 28 to 21 after beating the Seahawks. So I'm leaving those teams aside. The teams that I thought earned the most biggest jumps in the teams that have playoff chances mode were the Chargers. I jumped from 17 to 11, and the Detroit Lions from 19 to 15. They're the highest team in the power rankings with the losing record. And why? Well, because they've won, I think it's 5 of the last 6 games. They're on an absolute roll. They've turned an 8-team place race for the playoffs in the NFC into a 9-team race. They're 6 and 7, but they could easily finish 9 and 8 or even 10 and 7 when you look at the rest of their schedule. They're both real hot. The Lions, the Chargers with the big win, and even the Commanders are pretty hot. They moved up from 12 to 10, which is crazy because the Commanders were 32, dead last at one point this season, and now they're 10.
All right, all of Gang Green and Big Blue are locked in for this next question. Where do the Jets and where do the Giants stack up in your NFL power rankings?
I have them right in the middle. They were both in the top 10 at one point earlier this year, Brandon, but now I have the Giants. They've lost. They have 1 win in the last 6 games. They're 1-4-1. I've dropped them. I think they peaked at 6. They're down to 16. And the Jets, they've lost 2 in a row, but I only dropped them from 16 2 weeks ago to 17 now. When you lose to the Vikings and the Bills back-to-back on the road, you can't get penalized for that too much. Jets, Lions this week. I mean, Lions, like I said, are 15. Jets are 17. That's an enormous game in the NFL, not just in New York. It'll tell you a lot about the playoff races in both conferences.
We got some big games this weekend with some huge implications. Ryan Dunleavy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brandon.